This is a story about different biker gangs. When we were in the Northwest Company, once we went up to Powell River and played up there for a 101 Nights dance. And they were the bike gang, the local bike gang. And they parked all their bikes around inside some of them anyway, inside the dance hall. And we had this big dance party. I told this story earlier in the Northwest Company, but we went to their party after at their clubhouse. It was a big party, and I don't know, we all got drunk. And then we went down the basement. They had a place down there with beer, cases of beer all piled up against one wall, and a bar. And then you could sit on chairs and shoot handguns at the dirt wall on the other side. So we had a lot of fun doing that. And then at the end, everybody got so drunk and passed out all over the place. Gowan took a case of beer off their pile and took it with us when we left. And we had Roy Hennessy and Daryl Burlingham were up there with us, the two disc jockeys from Seafun. They used to come out and bring records and everything. They'd come to our dances, and it was like a big celebrity deal when, kids hear these guys on the radio all the time. They were more famous than the band. And they were always after groupies and everything too, so they would throw out stuff for them. And then I remember the tribesmen up in Squamish. They were the local gang up there. They used to hang around the Squamish Hotel where I played. I can't remember what their names. I remember one guy went up to one of the guys once and told him he'd like to screw his wife, and they beat the heck out of him. But they were always nice to me. They liked my music, and so they were cool. As long as you didn't bother them, they didn't bother you. Anyway, and then there was the Rebels from Edmonton. They used to come to our gigs at the Kingsway Hotel, and they had a big guy named Tiny, of course, and he was a huge guy that they would sit up and watch the Northwest Company play. And I remember something happened one time where some of my cymbals or something fell over, and old Big Tiny came up there and put them back up for me. He was kind of a nice guy. And he was they always protected our band, And then another time I went to Saskatoon, and the ones up in Edmonton were called the Rebels, and the Saskatoon ones were called the Rebels too. And I went up to Saskatoon to play for a week at the Riviera Hotel across from the Bessboro. And I used to go to this club at night called Bud's on Broadway, which is like it's like a blues club. It was a really good club. I'd go there at night after I played and have drinks and stuff. And I met a guy named Neil up there. He was with the Rebels, the bike gang. So, I don't know, I got friendly with them. I always kind of liked bikers because they always treated me nice. And so they invited me over to their clubhouse for drinks after Bud's on Broadway closed. So I went over there, and they had a pool table and a bar and a bunch of girls all standing around and drinking and everything. I started talking to the president. I don't know where Neil went, but he was one of the members, though. But we got talking away and bullshit, and I don't know if we were snorting coke. Who knows? Anyway, when it got to be about 3 or 4 in the morning, most everybody had already left. I'm still talking to the guy. And then I start talking politics, saying, yeah, I don't think you guys should join up with the Hells Angels because they're trying to get all these biker gangs to join up with you. I think you guys should stay with your own name, the Rebels. And so anyway, I'm talking to him, and then finally he said, I think you better go now, Richard. So, okay, I thought, so I better get out while the going's good. So anyway, he led me back out. He got all these locked doors, and then they got a walkway between these fences with these dogs in there, big, ugly Rottweilers or something. And then he lets me out the front door, and here I am standing out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where the hell I am in Saskatoon. And so I guess I walked for a ways until I got somewhere and caught a cab back home. Anyway, that's my little biker story.